All right, welcome everyone to the 2025 Get Ahead Colorado, Hacia Adelante Colorado Partner Kickoff Webinar. I'm Isabel Dixon from the Get Ahead Colorado campaign housed at CDPHE, and I'm so glad to welcome everyone joining us today to kick off the 2025 tax season and to learn and share information about how we can connect more of the families we serve to all of Colorado's supportive tax credits. A special welcome today to those of you who are new to this topic. We're so glad you're here with us. Today, we'll hear from community partners and state champions. If you can go to the next slide, Tessa, thank you. We'll hear from partners who will share lived experience, encourage us in our work, and share ideas about outreach. Feel free to put any questions you might have into the Q&A box as we go along, and we'll get to as many as we can at the end of the webinar. It will be recorded and shared out as soon as it meets our agency's accessibility standards, so that may take a little longer than it has in past years. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Kevin Amirasani for some welcoming remarks.
Thanks, Isabel, and thanks everyone for joining us for the 2025 launch of Get Ahead Colorado. I'm Kevin Amirasani, and I'm the Senior Advisor for Tax Policy for Governor Polis. I like to think of us as the people who turn tax season from a stressful few months into, if we do it right, one of the most impactful times of the year. Since 2021, I've had the privilege of working with most of the state staff on this call and many of the community partners on this call, and you'll be hard-pressed to find a group more committed to simplifying our tax code, meeting community members where they are, and quite literally spreading the wealth. Here in Colorado, especially with passage of the Family Affordability Tax Credit last year, we now have the most supportive tax code in the nation for low and middle income households, especially families with children. However, we have historically had low claims rates for tax credits when compared to the national average. For example, more than 1 in 5 eligible Coloradans miss out on the Earned Income Tax Credit every year. All this means countless families who stand to gain the most if they file taxes miss out on thousands of dollars every year. This is where community partners like you all come in to get the word out and help connect people to free tax filing resources. So we're going to begin with some remarks from Alicia Bonner. I've heard her on webinars and in legislative committees before, and she is both sharp and inspiring. Alicia will share some of her lived experience, including her advocacy work from the local to national level, as well as her experience as an early childhood professional supporting community tax outreach. Alicia, take it away.
Thanks, Kevin. And hi, everyone. Like Kevin said, my name is Elisha Vonner, but you can call me Leisha. I am the Policy and Advocacy Manager at Clayton Early Learning, and I'm excited to be part of this important conversation on tax outreach and its impact on families, especially within early childhood settings. As we know, tax policies significantly affect the financial well-being of families with your young children. And today I want to share the lived experiences of those impacted by these services. I'm not only lived through these challenges, but I also work as an advocate. I testify in favor of expanding supportive tax credits and speaking at the national level on this very issue. Let me take a moment to share my personal experience as a parent. Before I became the manager of policy and advocacy at Clayton, I was actually a parent at Clayton. There was a time when I struggled to make ends meet, working tireless to support my family, but always feeling like I was one step behind. I remember a specific moment when my daughters had grown out of every piece of clothing I had bought them just a few months earlier. Keeping up with their growing needs felt like an endless challenge, and at times, even providing the basics seemed like an impossible task. It was during this challenging time that I first encountered tax outreach services. And before I became the manager of policy and advocacy at Clayton, I, as the parent, Clayton gave me the resources and the opportunity to get in touch with these tax outreaches. As a parent and in an underserved community, I wasn't aware of the tax credits available to me, like the Earned Income Tax Credit and the Child Tax Credit. But through these resources and these connections, I was able to get help I needed to file my taxes with confidence. And those credits, particularly the EITC and CTC, made a tremendous difference helping me through the difficult time and providing my family with the stability we desperately needed. With financial support, I was able to purchase the clothing my daughters desperately needed because all the pants was super high water, the shoes didn't fit. It was crazy. It was a crazy time. They still do this, but because of these benefits and the credits that I received before, I'm able to balance my budgets in a better way now and get the clothes and things that they need now since they're still growing and thriving. But during that time, it was a relief, not just in terms of meeting my basic needs, but in knowing there was supports available when I needed it the most. This experience is something I carry with me as I think about the families we serve in early childhood settings today. Many parents are facing similar challenges, juggling work, raising children, and try to stay financially afloat. Tax credits like the EITC, CTC, and family affordability tax credits are essential tools for families, but many parents don't know, like Kevin said, about them or how to access them. That's where tax outreach and early childhood programs come in. Early childhood educators and program staffs are often often in close contact with families and can be trusted resources for sharing tax information and referring families to services like volunteer income tax assistance, VITA sites. These partnerships are critical in bridging the gaps and helping parents navigate tax season with ease. I also like to recognize the incredible work being done at all levels, whether it's hanging a flyer or hosting volunteers. Every level engagement is meaningful. And I want to do a special shout out to the local public health agencies for piloting the VITA sites in our communities and to the libraries for their incredible role in the tax reach. We're seeing this work in Adams, Arapahoe, Jefferson counties, and across libraries statewide. Their efforts are invaluable in spreading awareness and providing assistance to the families in need. Let's not also forget the role early childhood settings play, not only benefiting the families we serve, but also offering valuable supports to early childhood educators themselves. In the coming years, we can look forward to the early childhood educator tax credit, and in 2026, the new caretaker FFN tax credit. These resources will be essential for educators as well, ensuring they can access the financial support they deserve. Finally, we must ensure our outreach materials are accessible and inclusive. At Clayton, over the years, we have partnered with Tax Help Colorado and Colorado Fiscal Institute to host Clayton Tax Day events, which are really fun, benefiting our families and the surrounding communities. These events have provided essential services such as childcare, food, tax credit training sessions, multilingual support, digital access for all participants, and on-site opportunities to have their taxes completed for free. Our goal is to offer clear, easy to follow guidance to help individuals claim valuable tax credits and assess the financial supports they deserve. Building trust and creating strong relationships with these families is at the heart of our mission and the heart of my mission as well. So they know they can rely on us for the financial support they need. We've worked to make the entire process not only accessible, but also comfortable, helping individuals feel confident in navigating their tax claims. I want to end by emphasizing how transformative tax outreach can be for families. For me, it wasn't just about getting a tax refund. It was about receiving the support I needed to provide for my children and make sure they had what they needed to thrive. At the end of the day, it's all about building relationships so these families can get what they deserve in every aspect. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Alacia. Really appreciate those powerful words. Next up, I'm going to introduce the video that Senator Bennett made for us. One moment. Yes, so in the tax world, as you all probably know, Senator Bennett has long been a champion of children and families, especially with his historic child tax credit expansion in 2021. That expansion lifted nearly 3 million children out of poverty nationwide. It cut the child poverty rate nearly in half, and it reduced childhood hunger by 30%. So huge, huge steps. Senator Bennett has also been a strong supporter of tax outreach efforts and putting money back in the hands of families. We will now play his video.
Hi, everybody. It's Michael Bennett. First, I want to thank you for being here and for the work you do. Without your time and effort, families across Colorado might miss out on the important tax benefits that are available to them. I'd like to give a special thank you to the AmeriCorps National Civilian Community Corps teams who partnered with Colorado VITA sites to help people file their taxes and receive their refunds. In the last few years, NCCC teams helped return over $24 million to Colorado taxpayers with an average refund of around $1,400. You are trusted voices in communities throughout our state, and your work makes a huge difference for Colorado families struggling with the rising cost of living. But there's more we can do. That's why I'm working with my colleagues in Washington to restore the expanded child tax credit, a lifeline for families in Colorado and across the country. When Congress expanded the child tax credit a few years ago, we cut childhood poverty nearly in half, cut hunger for families by a quarter. Parents used the credit to buy groceries, pay for rent, and pay for childcare. What I heard most about from moms and dads across Colorado was that the expanded child tax credit relieved their stress. It made it a little bit easier to raise a kid in America. These tax credits go a long way for Coloradans, but too many miss out on these benefits because they simply don't know about them or how to claim them. And that's where you come in. Today, you'll learn how to help Coloradans claim their benefits, including the new ones that the state will provide this tax season. This year, Colorado's Family Affordability Tax Credit will deliver up to $3,200 per child for low-income families and reduces child poverty in Colorado. That's in addition to Colorado's child tax credit, which provides up to $1,200. And Colorado has expanded the state earned income tax credit to deliver more benefits for working families. These credits mean Colorado has one of the most generous family support systems in the country. Thank you again for all that you do this tax season to help Coloradans get the most of their refunds. The work you do makes a huge difference in the lives of Colorado workers and families. Please know that I am with you every step of the way. Thanks.
Once more, we really want to thank Senator Bennett and his office for making that video possible, and also for all their support over the years. They've been huge champions, not only of tax credits, but also of tax outreach. We are running a few minutes early, and the governor's a few minutes late, so I will pass to Isabel.
Thanks, Kevin. And yes, we so appreciate Senator Bennett taking the time to record those words of encouragement for all of us as we kick off our tax outreach efforts this year. So now my wonderful colleague Adriana Botich and I will get into the specifics of what's new for 2025, including new tools to support our work. So recognizing that many of us have been doing this for a while and know a lot, and others are new to this topic, I'm going to start with just some level setting around tax credits and how they work. So tax credits are basically just decreases in taxes owed. If no taxes are owed, tax credits are money refunded to you. And when a tax credit is refundable, you can get that money back in a refund payment if you file taxes as a check or a direct deposit to your bank account. To receive tax credits, though, you have to qualify and you must file a tax return. There are federal and state tax credits, so people need to file both a federal and state tax return to receive all the credit they're eligible for. To file taxes, community members need either a Social Security number or something called an individual tax ID number or ITIN number. An ITIN is a number that people who don't have a Social Security number or aren't eligible to receive one can use to file taxes. And some tax credits are available to people with only to people with an SSN, and other credits are available to people who use an ITIN. Applying for an ITIN requires filling out a form called a W-7, linked here, and submitting it to the IRS with required documents and a completed federal tax return. And it can take a while to get an ITIN number, up to 11 weeks. So why should those of us who support families be interested in getting people to file their taxes? It seems maybe a bit different than what we're used to talking about when we are people who support families directly. It really can be a lot of money, flexible cash that families can use as they see fit. And research shows that supportive tax credits reduce poverty, particularly child poverty. And we know that poverty is a root cause of poor and inequitable health outcomes. So here you can see on this slide some of the health and educational impact of tax credits that the research shows us, including decreased infant mortality and low birth weight, decreased child maltreatment, increased food security and access to higher quality food, and increased educational and health outcomes across the life course and even across generations. This graph puts tax credits in context with other benefits we might be used to referring to when working with families, such as TANF and SNAP, other benefits. You can see that refundable tax credits are a powerful anti-poverty lever that can lift families and individuals out of poverty, right behind Social Security and the anti-poverty impact they have. One way to connect families is to include tax referral in our benefits referral conversation so people don't leave this money on the table. And Adriana is going to talk in a moment about how to do that quickly and simply and safely. 1 in 5 eligible Coloradans does not claim their earned income tax credit. And some populations file at lower rates, and we want to make a special effort to reach these individuals in our communities who could be at risk of missing out on these resources. Research we have on the earned income tax credit shows that a higher proportion of people who miss out on tax credits live on low incomes, again, because they aren't required to file. They may speak a language other than English. Newcomers, immigrants, and refugees tend to file at lower rates, and people who live in rural areas. Also, people who have a new baby may not realize they're eligible for child tax credits, and caregivers may not realize that they're eligible when a child lives with them for 6 months or longer in the tax year. For example, grandparent caregivers may not realize they're eligible. And community-based programs are uniquely positioned to reach these families and individuals who don't claim. So what's new for 2025? We are very, very excited about the opportunity the new Colorado Family Affordability Tax Credit, or FATC, represents for families. There's a special focus on this credit this year among partners. The FATC is a state credit for families with eligible children that can deliver up to $3,200 for children 5 years or younger at the end of the tax year, end of 2024, and up to $2,400 for children between 6 and 16 years for older children. Higher credit amounts are available for lower income levels, and parents with an ITIN can receive the credit if their eligible children have a Social Security number. So as an example, an individual filer making $45,000 a year could receive $2,100 per child under 6 and $1,410 per child for children between 6 and 16. So when you add the FATC to other credits, it's a historic opportunity this year for low and moderate income Coloradans. So we talked about the FATC and the significant refundable amounts it will deliver. There are also a number of other supportive credits. This slide is for reference. I won't read it, don't worry. You can see some of the amounts here though, and that they really add up. $7,830 for the federal EITC this year, depending on how many children, with a state match, the federal and state child tax credits. And there is a TABOR refund this year, although it is smaller than it has been in recent years. And there are even more credits that aren't listed here. Things like childcare expenses, education expenses, or if you are an early childhood educator. But you don't need to remember all of these credits or any of this. Tax software and tax preparers will connect filers to all their credits if they start the filing process. Connecting people with general information and free tax filing is really the most important action. You don't have to be a tax professional or know anything about taxes to connect people to this info. We want to avoid giving specific tax advice for individuals or promising tax credits. Next year, there's another new supportive credit designed for early childhood care workers and qualified direct care workers called the Care Worker Tax Credit. Guidance from the Colorado Healthcare Policy and Financing Agency, HCPF, will be released on how direct care workers can claim this credit. For early childhood educators, the Department of Early Childhood has posted guidance on what early childhood caregivers should do to be ready. It will likely be a registration of some kind. For now, care workers should just track their hours for this year, and then guidance will be coming out for how to claim the credit next year. So how specifically do we connect our community members to these credits? My colleague, Adriana Botic, next slide, please, is going to talk about how to do that and what resources are available this year to help us out. Adriana.
Thanks very much, Isabel. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here with us for another successful tax season for our community members. Next slide, please. Knowing how important tax credits are for families, how do we connect folks to tax credits? We recommend keeping it simple when you're having conversations with your program partners, community members, and clients. Simply ask, did you file taxes? Have you received tax credits? Are you planning to file taxes? From there, you can refer your program participants to free tax filing services online, or if more help is needed, assist folks with scheduling a VITA-Site or TaxAid appointment. Another great option is to refer people to 211 Colorado's website or to encourage people to dial 211 for live help. One great starting point to connect program participants with information is the Get Ahead Colorado website in English and Hacia Adelante Colorado in Spanish. Both sites are mobile friendly. And on the next slide, you'll see that the site now includes 3 options for free tax filing. The first option is a do-it-yourself option with My Free Taxes, which uses TaxSlayer software, which you may have heard of. Another option is assisted virtual filing with Get Your Refund. Of course, VITA and TaxAid sites are a fantastic in-person option, and from Get Ahead Colorado, you can find ways to book appointments with VITA sites. Get Ahead Colorado also includes a new tax credit calculator, details about available tax credits, information about other resources that are available to families through the My Friend Ben benefit screener, and of course, the Partner Toolkit. We are so excited for you to see the new tax credit calculator developed by Gary Community Ventures, and you'll see a live demo in just a moment. When you go to the Partner Toolkit tab of the website, you'll see navigation links to guide you to newsletter content, flyers, and documents you can use in your conversations with program participants. There's many different print and digital media messaging options, including flyers, social media posts, and everything in the Partner Toolkit is in English and Spanish. New this year is a combination tax credit flyer and coloring page, which makes it a great way to get parents to take this flyer home with them after their kiddos have had fun coloring the back page. During your conversations with program participants and clients, we have several resources available to help support those conversations. These outreach materials cover a variety of topics from the basics of tax credits, the basics of applying for an ITIN, the steps to follow to file your taxes, and a tax document checklist. Because many people don't know what documents are required to file taxes, this is a helpful resource. On the website, there's also a map of all the VITA sites operating in Colorado this tax season. The map will give you the address, hours of operation, and languages spoken at each site, as well as the contact information for you to make an appointment, either for yourself or to assist your program participants in making an appointment for themselves. If you're not familiar with VITA sites, you'll hear lots more about them in just a few moments, but these are volunteer income tax assistance sites.
Oh, hi.
And I'll pause there. I see we have Governor Jared Polis.
Well, hi, everybody. I just wanted to pop on and share that I'm very excited for the tax campaign kickoff and want to thank you for your hard work, especially the CDPHE team. Thanks to Isabel Dixon and Adriana Botic for their work. And, we're really excited about this important tax support, including VITA, AARP, TaxAid, tax sites, AmeriCorps. I think we were the first state in the country to deploy AmeriCorps in this area. I want to thank our partners like Gary Community Ventures for their support of CDPHE's tax outreach efforts, and all the community partners here today. This is really a big piece of our work to fight poverty and childhood poverty, especially in our state. This is the 4th year of our First in the Nation partnership with AmeriCorps. That's under the leadership of our own Lieutenant Governor, Diane Primavera. We're very excited about doubling the size of the state earned income tax credit, creating this child tax credit. These are important, powerful tools to fight poverty, and they rely on, of course, filing of taxes. We also have the family affordability tax credit. That means with all these credits, there are some Colorado families that might get back up to $20,000, which can be life-changing between federal and state and Tabor refunds. And we're very excited about really leading the way on. A lot of people are watching the results of this. There'll be a lot of studies done on how state tax credits can really help reduce poverty and hunger and housing insecurity for struggling families. So you're on the forefront of this. We know that to make a difference, we need to make sure people are claiming those tax credits that they're eligible for. And that's why your work is important. We know our tax system is complicated, and it goes a long way, especially for those who might not have filed before, to have people help and support them to learn about and claim those credits. So thank you for your time and work in this pioneering national work. I'm really grateful for your efforts to lead the way and all the leadership work you're doing to do that. I also want to thank Kevin from my team, who you work with on this as well. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Isabel.
Thank you so much to Governor Polis for taking the time to join us today and for your ongoing support for connecting more Coloradans to these valuable resources. We really appreciate it. Thank you. With that, I'll pass it back to Adriana to resume sharing about our resources.
Thank you, Isabel, and thanks very much to Governor Jared Polis for joining today and highlighting the importance of VITA sites. VITA sites are volunteer income tax assistance sites that offer free in-person tax preparation services by IRS certified trained volunteers. VITA sites serve people who make up to $67,000 per year and persons with disabilities. This is a nationwide community program that's been on operation for over 50 years. Appointments are limited, so we recommend that you work with your program participants and clients to schedule appointments early on in tax season. The languages spoken at each location vary by site, so you can check that on the VITA site map and list on the Get Ahead Colorado website before you book an appointment. We always want to highlight the accuracy of tax returns prepared by VITA site volunteers. The accuracy rate is over 90%, which is actually higher than paid commercial tax preparers. So this is a fantastic community resource. Now, if you're wondering how to have these conversations with your program participants, we'd love to share the following outreach strategies and ideas that have worked successfully for many of our community partners over the years. The simplest way to conduct outreach for tax credits is to post or distribute flyers to locations where you know your community members will be. You can also share information about tax credits at community events related to food assistance, health, or children. Many organizations have trained their staff on tax credits and how to file for free and included this information in their benefits referral programs and other programs. And knowing where to refer is an important part of the outreach process. Again, you can refer to Get Ahead Colorado, Hacia Adelante Colorado, and 211 Colorado. Many organizations have added a tax filing widget and tax filing information to their website, and many organizations have had great success hosting tax workshops in the languages of their communities to provide additional information. Another great option, if you have space at your location, is to designate one or more computer stations for community members to file their taxes themselves. And if you do have space for this, free tax filing software can be provided to you. If you do have space and there are IRS certified volunteers available, another great strategy has been to have the volunteers come to your location to assist community members with free tax filing on site. You can also apply for your organization to become an IRS certified tax preparation site. Now, as you're speaking with your program participants and clients, it's important to address common concerns. These shown on screen are also discussed in the outreach materials and on the Get Ahead website. Now, many folks have concerns about receiving tax credits in case that would negatively impact their other benefits. And we have seen that receiving tax credits does not currently negatively impact most benefits like SNAP, TANF, or Medicaid. And in part, this is because tax credits are not income. Now, some credits do require minimal earnings, but this should not dissuade people from filing a tax return because only minimal earnings are needed, and that's only for certain tax credits. Many families with mixed documentation status are wondering if they can still receive some tax credits. And the answer is yes. Parents with an ITIN can receive many tax credits if their children have a Social Security number. Now, many community members have concerns about fraud, so it's important to reassure clients that VITA volunteers are legitimate tax preparers. Next up, I'm happy to turn the microphone over to Zach Martinez from Gary Community Ventures. Take it away, Zach.
Thank you so much. It's awesome to be here. This is feeling real. I was lucky enough to be a part of the Family Affordability Tax Credit advocacy work last year. And just a few days ago, I was talking with my sister and getting to show her the calculator that I'm about to show you guys and show her that she's going to get an $11,000 tax refund for her 2 kids under 5 is pretty incredible. So I'm excited to also share it with you all. And also huge gratitude to the organizations that helped us pass the Family Affordability Tax Credit, like the Colorado Fiscal Institute, Colorado Children's Campaign, Colorado Women's Foundation, and a bunch of the orgs who are here who are working with us on tax credit outreach, like the Pueblo United Way, La Raza, the Denver Asset Building Coalition, Adams County, and a few others. So I'm going to share my screen so that everyone can see the calculator. First, we'll just start at the Get Ahead Colorado website because I know that's a landing page for lots of people. If you go from there, you can go to the Tools and Benefits tab and go down to the tax credit calculator. This calculator was developed by Gary Community Ventures and our team that also developed My Friend Ben, which is a calculator to help determine the amounts of public benefits that people might be eligible for. So we've used some of those learnings to help simplify this form as well. So just filling out a few questions, you determine whether you are filing jointly or single, and then you enter the number of children you have 5 and under, and the number of children you have 6 to 16. I'm just putting in a couple of numbers that make sense. And then there's a question about income. One of the things we learned from My Friend Ben is that most people don't think about income as this is the amount I made between January 1 and December 31st. So we try to make it a little bit more user-friendly by allowing people to enter enter their income based off of how they actually receive it. So oftentimes people receive income every 2 weeks. So we give that as an option, and I'll just put $1,500 to get dollars every 2 weeks as a good example. We'll just click calculate my income or my tax credit, and here you go. You get a total amount of tax credits that the family would be eligible for, and it breaks it down by the 5 major tax credits that we've been talking about today. One thing to keep in mind is we have this asterisk down here, but for you all to know, this calculator might not always be 100% accurate. It'll be fairly accurate for families with very normal tax situations like W-2 income that have normal withholdings. But if someone has a less normal, or I guess a less simple way of earning income, or didn't have normal withholdings taken from their paycheck, it might end up being a little different. So it's just important to keep that in mind when you're working with families. But it's great to be here, and I'm glad to be able to share the calculator, and I hope it's really useful. And I'll pass it to Amber at DOR.
Thanks so much, Zach. That is a really cool calculator, and I'm really excited for families to start using it. I'm excited to introduce myself to the group. My name is Amber Egbert. I am here with the Colorado Department of Revenue. I've been involved in DOR and taxation for the last 15 years, and just wanted to share with you a couple of exciting things that DOR is doing for the upcoming 2025 tax season. Um, you'll hear similar to everyone else that this is trying to just put more tools in your toolbox for resources that you can share with your community, share with the people that you're working with. And so if you want to advance us to the next slide, we launched for the first time a program where we're partnering on the tax side with our friends over on the DMV side of the Department of Revenue. So most of you know Colorado's a big state, very geographically diverse. There are more people in the state in areas where folks can't get to a service center than there are service centers where we can offer service. And so Tax to Go is a program where we are partnering with our DMV folks. We have a calendar on our website where we have scheduled out through the rest of the tax season times where we will be going in our mobile vehicle with our DMV partners out to areas where there are no tax service centers, and where it can be geographically tricky to make it to a tax service center, so that we have resources and staff available to help with tax questions. And you can use the information about when our vehicle will be out there to set up appointments. You can just walk in. Let's go ahead and hop front one more slide to our schedule. So you can see throughout most of tax season, we're going out at least once a week over the next couple of weeks to try and hit some more of the areas where there are underserved populations that need maybe some extra support, rural areas, places where there are folks in long-term care facilities, higher populations of folks experiencing homelessness. And so our goal with this service is to kick it off this year, try to get some extra support to people in those areas, try to get the word out. We'd love and appreciate any support from any of you who have people in these areas as well. And hopefully, if this is successful and we get some good penetration, we can just keep growing this effort in the future. And then the second piece that we're doing that I wanted to pitch, and let's go ahead and skip ahead to that next slide, is we've had a lot of feedback, and I'm sure you've heard people on this call say it, that taxes are complicated. There is just a ton of information that people might want to know, or that people might need to know to be able to interact with their taxes. And while as tax administrators, we may look at our website and say, well, we listed it all out in a way that makes sense to us. That's not great user experience. And so something that we're launching in February with some support from some user experience work and user experience outreach is some streamlining to our website to kind of break down the ways that people can use tax credits in the state of Colorado when you're filing your Colorado taxes to save money. And so we'll be grouping these in categories where people can learn about things that affect them based on things that are like common interests, tax credits for individuals and families, tax credits and tax treatment that's specific to seniors and retirees, different types of charitable contributions and what those mean, environmentally impacting tax credits and tax policy changes. And so we're hoping that this reorganization helps make the content more accessible, but we also love to try and point folks towards our website as much as possible. Those are just two really exciting things that we're looking forward to for this year. Also looking forward to continuing to support Isabel and the Get Ahead folks and all of our volunteer community. It really does take a village to be able to get this done right. And I can't tell you how much your support is just needed and appreciated to help folks get the benefits that they're eligible for, and to just demystify some of the stress around the tax filing situation. And I will go ahead and answer. I know we have a couple of more Q&A questions come in, but another follow-up came in about privacy laws, about concerns about ITIN filers. I'm sure you've heard all of us on this call say this before, that we don't offer actual tax advice because personal situations are dependent. There's a lot of concern about potential future changes because of the change in administration and how that might impact tax rules going forward, but we don't have any concrete information we can act on. And so we can't really advise a particular stance or position at this point. And so I'll go ahead and answer that question in the chat too, just so you've got that. But we don't really have a position that we can share outside of what current law is allowing. And I think that is it for me. I will go ahead and turn it over to our next speaker.
Great. Thank you so much, Amber. So my name is Kristen Hubbard, and I serve as the director of the Tax Help Colorado program, which is a part of Mile High United Way. And we are the largest VITA program in the state of Colorado with over 50 tax sites throughout the state. And last year we helped file around 10,000 tax returns, bringing back just around $19 million to Coloradans through the support of 400 volunteers. But the volunteers that make me the most excited to get up every day and to do this work come to us through AmeriCorps on CCC and through the Southwest region. And we, for the past 4 seasons now, through the work of CDPHE, Serve Colorado and the governor's office, have been a part of the Economic Mobility MOU that has allowed us to partner with these incredible individuals who have committed to a year of national service, who have stood up and said, yes, I will serve. Yes, I will give back, and I will do more than most to get things done. And when you ask a group of young people to do incredible things, they will do it. Even when you tell them they're going to spend 12 weeks in Metro Denver, or like Earth 5 is right now down in Pueblo, doing taxes. And what is great about this incredible group of Earth 6, who's joining me in this room right now, along with the support team leads, they just came back from a project doing disaster relief work in North Carolina. And so they were supporting folks recovering from Hurricane Helene and are now helping Coloradans get money back in their pocket. And they will go to 16 different tax sites throughout Metro Denver and become the most expert volunteers that I have out of those 400 volunteers. And they will do it with pure joy and enthusiasm because they were asked. And when I think about what is ahead for Coloradans this tax season, it is truly this partnership that makes me excited. And I am so incredibly grateful for the work that is ahead and the Family Affordability Tax Credit and the Senior Income Tax Credit, along with all of the partners in this room, because of what AmeriCorps has allowed us to do. And we at VITA are in a really unique position. My resource and development team often asks me, Kristen, what do you need? And I'm like, I need volunteers. I need people willing to stand up and get certified by the IRS to prepare tax returns, to engage deeply with their community, and to learn how to file a tax return to promote economic opportunity and mobility for all people. And what is great about this partnership with AmeriCorps is when adults in our community see young people filing taxes every single day, you better believe they are more willing to volunteer and to stand up and to take those IRS certifications because AmeriCorps inspires people every single day. And so if you are considering volunteering, or if you have people in your life or in your community who you know the impact of tax credits, Zach mentioned his sister will have that $11,000 tax credit. We know these tax credits are going to impact families and our neighbors deeply this year in a way that VITA's capacity is only limited by the volunteers we have on the ground. It is not too late to get volunteer or to get certified. We have a training in February, and I am more than happy to talk to you or your neighbors to get certified to serve alongside Earth 6 and our support team leaders, along with, Fire 5, serving down with United Way Pueblo.
Hi, thank you so much, Christian. This is Fire 5. We're serving with the United Way in Pueblo. And thank you for everything you've said about AmeriCorps. We feel the same way about Earth 5 and their service, and we're all just really happy to be here and serving this community.
And we will let Kevin go ahead and wrap us up with any outstanding questions and ways that we as a community can come together to get more folks involved and connected to the tax credits in this upcoming season.
Thank you so much, Kristen. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you, AmeriCorps and CCC teams. I visited some of you all in the past, and it's utterly inspiring the work you all do. So we are incredibly appreciative for your work. Amber answered a few of the questions that are in the chat. There are a couple more open ones. There was one question from Tara Goldsby. Is there a place to put my disabled son, who is 36, that I would claim as a dependent? Unfortunately, adults who are disabled aren't eligible for the state or federal child tax credit or our state child care expense credits. However, they may be eligible for the federal child and dependent care tax credit. So not the main CTC we've been talking about, but there's another federal tax credit, the child and dependent care tax credit, that's basically equal to a percentage of the expenses you have in offering care. They might be eligible for that one. I'll pause if Amber has anything else to add.
Nope, nothing else to add.
Great. And this is the quick link. So we mentioned a bunch of links across this presentation. Here they are as well. And we'll, of course, also share the slides with you afterwards. There's a question from Diana. Are there materials for ITIN filers in the partner toolkit? I will let Adriana or Isabel take that one.
Yes, we have an outreach document titled ITIN Basics in English and Spanish.
Thanks, Adriana. If others have questions, feel free to either raise your hand or drop them in the chat. Another question, what is the new tax credit available for Coloradans on the 2024 tax return? How can we promote it in our community? I might let Zach talk about that one. Or Adriana as well.
Yeah, I can jump in. They may be referring to the family affordability tax credit, which is new this year. It's fully funded, which means it can be up to $3,200 for children under 5 at the end of 2024, or up to $2,400 for children between 6 and 16 at the end of the tax year. It is available for people who hold an ITIN if the children are eligible and have a Social Security number. It is very exciting. The tax calculator includes a calculation based on this that can show you how much you might be eligible for with this new family affordability tax credit. And there's more information about it on the Get Ahead Colorado website and the DOR website. Oh, and about promoting it in your community, we'll share the slides, and there's a slide there with some outreach ideas, but things like mentioning tax filing and the tax calculator to your community members if you're speaking directly with them, hanging a flyer, inviting them to go to 211 or Get Ahead or call 211 for more information are a few ways that you can start getting the word out.
Thank you, Isabel. We have a question from Latinas Community Connection Services. Do you have this webinar in Spanish too?
We do not. We have some challenges when we have different speakers with having interpretation on the webinar. So apologies for that, but we do have a lot of materials in Spanish on the website, and some trainings we may be able to provide to you directly with interpretation if you would like to reach out.
Next question. If a married filer files married separately for the 2026 child care giver credits, would the 100,000 for married filers still apply? This might be referring to the current filing season, so a tax year 2024 credit, but Amber probably has more info.
Yeah, I was gonna maybe unmute and ask for clarification because if we're talking about the caregiver credit that was created during the last legislative session, that one actually starts for tax year 2025, not 2026. And it has a $100,000 limit on married filing joint filers. I don't have an answer for that question off the top of my head, but if you can clarify if that's the credit you're talking about, I can do a little bit of homework and come back with an answer for that.
We can come back to that one. Oh yeah, sorry, forgot the name. It's for the one that caregivers can file in 2026. So I think it's referring to the care worker tax credit. Okay, next question. Are you able to share the PowerPoint to review it? I believe we are once the accessibility checks will be complete. Mickey has a question. I work with grand families who are raising grandchildren. Most are retired and on Social Security. Is that considered income? I believe Social Security income tax is a little bit complicated because there's a portion that's exempt and there's a portion that's taxable. I think it depends on the amount of Social Security and what type of Social Security we're talking about, whether it's regular disability. But there is a portion that is often considered income, but we do have some state tax deductions that reduce that tax liability. So, Amber, is there anything else I'm missing there?
No, I think that sounds right. And because Colorado's taxes are linked to those federal taxes, if you're required to report the income as taxable income to the IRS, then the state likely treats that as taxable income as well.
However, we do, so for the portion of the income that is listed in your federal taxable income, we have some state deductions that help out. We have one, if you're 65 or above, you could reduce your income by a further $24,000, up to $24,000 if that's retirement-based income. And we also have a Social Security specific exemption. So for many families, that covers all of their Social Security income, meaning none of it's taxable, but it depends on the amount and the situation and the age. I see a question from Denise. That's more of a comment. Thank you, Denise. You can obtain recordings or bilingual or multilingual webinars by having the interpreter hit record, in addition to the host, generating an English version on the host's end and the Spanish or other language version on the interpreter's end. I believe those are all the open questions. Anyone else? Last call? In that case, I will pass it back to Isabel. Thanks, everyone.
Just a thank you for everyone for joining us today. We are excited to kick off the tax season with you. Community connectors are the most important link in this system as far as connecting people to these benefits, and we are thrilled to be partnered with you. And again, the information will be going out, the slides, the recording, as soon as we have it in compliance with accessibility requirements. And you can find lots of information and the calculator at getaheadcolorado.org, VITA information for booking appointments, and also 211, Tax Help Colorado, or other options for more information. And we just want to thank you again for your time, and happy tax season, everybody.